Hi everyone, my name is Chris Miller. I'm Vice President for School of PE, and I just want to talk to you about the PMP certification and kind of give you some thoughts of maybe why you should pursue your PMP certification. So thanks for joining and let's get started. So first I'm going to talk about what is a PMP certification. Some of you may know what it is and others might not, so we'll talk about that briefly. But also as you're sitting there, you're contemplating, man, I just spent X number of months, N number of hours studying for my FE and my PE. Why in the world would I want to tackle another? Well, I'm going to give you some ideas as to why maybe you should. And then also we'll talk about some of the industries that pursue the PMP from the individual side. Letting you know which individuals from which industries seek their PMP certification. And then finally, how do I get my PMP? We'll tackle that here at the end. For many of you, you might be thinking, what is PMP or what is a PMP? Well, simply put, it is a certification that's offered by the Project Management Institute, otherwise known as PMI. One of the great things about the PMP certification is that it's globally recognized. You could become a PMP in the US, you could go work over in India or Japan, and your PMP is going to be recognized. It's also one of the most sought after certifications, and it is considered the gold standard of project management. Having your PMP lets people know that you possess many skills, some of which are managing people, managing processes, managing resources, but also picking projects that will best optimize your organization. So let's kind of take a look at each of these tiles really quick. And what do you mean by manage people? Well, you're going to be able to select the right people for the right tasks on a project. Also manage people's communication up and down the organization or throughout the project team throughout the project. Manage processes, everything from initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, controlling, closing out the project, and then going over the lessons learned. Also, one of the big things or big tasks that project managers are tasked with are managing resources. And resources can be anything from the people on the team to maybe a crane that's being used to construct a stadium, but also you can think of it as the budget as well as a resource. So all those things that you'll show that you know how to do because you have your PMP. Prioritize objectives of the organization or the business, helping companies best select projects that are best suited for not only their business, but what might help them in the long run. As you're sitting there, you might be asking yourself, why should I get my PMP? Well, one reason is that potential salary boost. Data or studies have shown that people that obtain their PMP certification see upwards of $20,000 increase in their salary. So that's a great reason to, but shouldn't be the only reason to. Also, it shows others that you're motivated and you're committed. If you think about it, for many of you that are sitting here listening to this video, you guys sat through and took your FE, you took your PE, and you guys, I'm sure everyone had their own reasons to do so, but at the end, it showed people that you were committed to the end, right? You put in the time to get through your FE and you put in the time to get through your PE. So motivated and committed is definitely something that you'll show others by obtaining your PMP certification. Also, as I mentioned at the very beginning, it shows others that you're keeping up with industry trends. So much like your PE, the PMP has continuing ed requirements. For PE, you have your PDHs, and then project management, they're called PDUs. But one thing that having to go through continuing ed to maintain your licensing or your certification is that you have to take courses that help you keep up with the trends, but also help maybe you learn new skills in the industry. So that's a great reason why you should get your PMP as well. It helps you keep up with industry trends. But also it increases your employment opportunities. So if you think about it, PE is strictly, when you think of it, it's strictly thought of as engineering, right? Professional engineer. But with PMP, the nice thing about it is it crosses over to just about any industry. So you could get your PMP, let's say you're an engineer and you get your PMP, and then let's say a few years down the road, you decide to maybe move into a different field altogether. So let's say you move into healthcare, where you manage infrastructure or you work on projects in healthcare. Your PMP is going to follow you, meaning that the processes for working on projects in the engineering world, the IT, healthcare, they're the same. You might be thinking, well, this guy's crazy. How's it the same? Well, the process is the same. The way you're going to manage the projects are going to be the same. Just because you're in a different industry doesn't mean you manage projects entirely different. Also, you earn greater respect in the industry. Just like when you obtain your PE, people are like, holy cow, this guy's now a PE. Same thing with the PMP. When they see the PMP next to your signature, they're going to be like, wow, this person has earned their respect in project management. So these are all great reasons to obtain your PMP. As you've watched your way through the video, now you get to the point to where you're like, well, how do I get my PMP? Well, first you're going to go to PMI.org. This is where you're going to create a My PMI account, just like you did for the NCES. Basically, you're going to complete an application, you're going to submit the application, and then once it's approved, you can schedule your exam. The application process is going to consist of, your personal information, contact information, but also you're going to document your project experience. And you can go back, I believe, 8 years as far as documenting project experience. So now that you've done that, how do you get ready for your exam? Well, come to School of PE. So we offer a live online, and coming here later this year, we'll also offer an on-demand boot camp for the PMP. Not only will you learn what you need to pass the PMP exam through these courses, you'll also earn the 35 contact hours that are required by PMI to sit for the exam. All right, now it brings us to the top industries seeking PMP certification. Construction engineering, if you notice, are sitting at the top, followed by IT, healthcare, advertising, and utilities. I'll tell you an interesting story. So when we first launched PMP back in 2013, our first 2 classes were 100% made up of School of PE alumni. I think between the 2 classes, we had 77 students that enrolled for the 2 PMP classes. That should show you that, PEs pursue their PMP. But also, they've changed the exam ideology to where it used to be waterfall, where change was limited on a project, and they made it more agile, and that had made it very attractive to the IT world. But if you look, construction engineering sit at the top, so that should at least let you know that, hey, engineers are looking for this certification. All right, everyone, I just want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and hopefully it shed some light on the PMP and maybe give you some insight into why you should pursue your PMP certification. If you'd like to learn more, please go to www.schoolofpe.com and register for your PMP exam prep course. Thank you very much.